Every time I cook with onions, my eyes start burning and I can barely keep going, especially when I'm rushing to get dinner on the table. I used to get really frustrated anytime I had to cut onions until I tried a few simple tricks that actually helped. Today, I'll share the easiest ones that made a real difference. Hi everyone, I'm Mira. The first trick is the easiest one, and honestly, almost anyone can do this right away. And it actually starts when you're picking onions at the store. Try to choose onions that feel firm and heavy for their size, with dry outer skin. Those are usually fresher and easier to work with. Before you cut your onion, just place it in the fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes. You don't need to leave it too long, just enough to cool it down. Once it's chilled, take it out and cut it like you normally would. You'll notice it feels a little firmer and easier to handle. Cooling the onion helps slow down the release of those irritating compounds that make your eyes burn. It's such a simple step, but it can make a real difference, especially on busy weeknights. Now, if you want better results, this next step really matters. It sounds simple, but using a sharp knife can make a big difference. I used to think any knife would work as long as it could cut through the onion, but when the knife is dull, it doesn't slice cleanly, it actually crushes the onion layers. And when that happens, more of those irritating compounds are released into the air. So before you start, try to use the sharpest knife you have in your kitchen. It doesn't need to be expensive. Even a basic knife works great as long as it's well sharpened. When you cut with a sharp knife, the blade glides through the onion instead of pressing into it. The cuts are cleaner, the pieces look better, and you'll often notice your eyes feel less irritated. It's one of those small changes that doesn't take extra time, but really improves the whole experience. But here's something most people don't know when they cut onions, and it can really change the way you do it. When you're prepping your onion, don't cut off the root end right away. That small part at the bottom actually holds all the layers together. Start by cutting the onion in half from top to bottom, then peel off the skin. After that, keep the root end intact while you make your cuts. Slice vertically first, then across, depending on how you need it. Only at the very end do you trim off the root. When the root stays in place, the onion holds together much better while you're cutting. It doesn't fall apart or slide around as much, which makes the whole process feel more controlled. And because you're not breaking everything apart too early, it can also help reduce how much of that strong onion reaction gets released all at once. It's a small detail, but once you try it, you'll notice how much cleaner and easier your cuts become. Now here's another trick that feels a bit different, but a lot of people find it surprisingly helpful once they try it. When you're cutting onions, try doing it near a bowl of water or right next to your sink with a little bit of running water. You don't need anything complicated. Just having water nearby can make a difference. Sometimes I'll place a large bowl of water right next to my cutting board. Other times, if I'm already working near the sink, I'll turn the faucet on just slightly and cut the onion there. It doesn't have to be strong, just a gentle flow is enough. The idea here is simple. The compounds that make your eyes burn travel through the air, and when there's water nearby, it can help pull some of that away before it reaches your eyes. This trick is especially helpful when you're cutting more than one onion, or when you're doing meal prep for the week. It's easy to set up, and you can adjust it based on your kitchen space. Just make sure your cutting board stays stable, and not too wet while you're working. It may feel a little unusual at first, but once you try it, you'll see why it works so well. And if you're cutting a lot of onions at once, this last trick is one I find really practical. Before you start slicing, you can peel the onion and let it sit in a bowl of water for about 5 to 10 minutes. You don't need to soak it too long, just enough to let it rest a bit before cutting. After that, take it out, pat it dry lightly, and cut it the way you normally would. The texture might feel slightly milder, and the overall smell won't feel as strong right away. This step can help tone things down a little before you start cutting, which makes the whole process more comfortable, especially if you're prepping several onions for a recipe. I usually use this method when I'm making something like soup, stews, or prepping ingredients ahead for the week. It's simple, doesn't require any special tools, and fits easily into your routine. Of course, you don't have to do this every time. But when you're dealing with a bigger batch, it's a small step that can make a noticeable difference. When I know I'll be cutting a lot of onions, this is one of the easiest ways to make the whole process feel more manageable. So, next time you cook with onions, you don't have to deal with tears the old way anymore. Just a few small changes can make a big difference. Some days I use one trick, other days I combine a couple of them. Which one would you try first? Or, do you have your own tip? Let me know in the comments.